Hi everyone, this is Karthik. In this session, we are going to discuss about CSS selectors. Okay, let me start the session. I have created a folder named CSS selectors in the D drive. So you all can create something like this. In this folder, I'm going to create a HTML file named selectors.html. Let me try to open this file in the editor. The editor that I'm going to use for this session is Notepad++. So right click, edit with Notepad++. So it's done. I'm just going to provide the basic structure. That is, we are going to start up with doc type, HTML. That is, we are going to use HTML5 version. We have the HTML tag. That HTML tag has two sections. That is head, and the head tag we are going to provide the title. This is fundamental, but anyway, title. So in this title, I'm just simply specifying it is CSS selectors, and we have the body tag here. So let me save this. So we have saved the selectors.html file. I'm going to open this file in Chrome. So run, launch in Chrome. Okay, so the file is successfully open in the browser. So we are just going to have some simple tags. For example, in this body tag, we are going to have our paragraphs. So let me have the content called para1, and this is para2. This para2 is going to have a ID attribute. Let me give that as p1. And we have two more paragraphs called para3 and para4. Okay, those two paragraphs going to have a class attribute. So in this class attribute, let me provide the value para. So let me copy this and paste it. Okay, a simple DOM here. So I have saved it. Let me try to open that in Chrome once again. Refresh. So you can see all the paragraphs here. The important topic that we are going to discuss here is CSS selectors. In CSS selectors, so what is the advantage of going for CSS selector? So what are all the stuff we can learn in CSS selector? What are all the benefits that we are going to achieve with the CSS selectors? That's what we are going to discuss in this session. So to start up with that, so basically CSS selectors are used to select the DOM element. After selecting the DOM element, I can apply the styles over that particular element. So is that required to remember all the CSS properties? Means no, it is not required at all, because we are using Google Chrome. Not only with Google Chrome, in Internet Explorer, even in Mozilla Firefox, we have this facility of selecting the DOM element and providing the styles with the help of developer tools. So in particularly in this session, I'm using Google Chrome to make our work easier, and moreover Google Chrome has a very sophisticated developer tools which make our work very easier. So let me see how to open the developer tools. So to open the developer tools, we have two options. You can click this icon and just go to more tools. In that more tools, you can see an option called developer tools. This is one way. Okay, the another way is you can just simply press F12. So when I press F12, it opens the developer tools for us. In this developer tool, we have lot of tags. For example, we have the tabs called element, console, source, etc., etc., etc. is there. Here, first let me concentrate on the elements tab. When I click the elements tab, you can see the current DOM. You can see the current DOM here. For instance, when I select this paragraph, okay, you can see that that paragraph is highlighted in the browser preview window. Okay, for example, I have selected this paragraph. After selecting this paragraph, I want to provide some styles. For instance, let me change the color of the paragraph to blue color. So to do that, in the right hand side, you can see there is an option called element.style. Just click on that and just type the letter C. As soon as you type the letter C, it will display all the CSS properties starts with C. In our example, I'm just going to select the color and I'm pressing. For example, just type C, select this and press enter. After pressing enter, it will display all the HTML color names. For instance, I'm going to select blue, press enter. So as soon as we done this, you can see an inline style is added here. Can you see that? An inline style got added here, and you can see the preview also. That first paragraph is in blue color as of now. So like this, we can work with any CSS property. For example, I would just want to change the letters to capital letters. Okay, for that we have text hyphen transform. Enter. Can you see these are all the possible values for that particular CSS attribute. Let me select uppercase, press enter. So you can provide such CSS properties directly. But the important thing here is how to select the DOM element. That is very, very important. So this session is all about how to select the DOM element. Once you select the DOM element, then it is very much easy to apply these styles. For instance, let me copy those two styles. I'm going back to my Notepad++. I'm going to use the internal CSS concept here. That is, within the head tag, let me provide the style tag here. Since it is HTML file, there is no need to specify type equal to text/CSS. Now I need to apply this style, whatever styles that I have copied for all the paragraphs. So this is a CSS selector. Okay, this selector will select all the paragraph. After selecting that paragraph, I'm going to apply those two styles. That is, color should be in blue and the text transform should be in uppercase, which I have got from the developer tools. So when I press refresh, you should see all the paragraph is applied with this style. Okay, that is so simple. But our task is not to work with the CSS properties. Instead of that, we are going to see how to work with CSS selectors. Okay, let me proceed with that. I'm opening Notepad++, so let me delete this internal style, and I'm going to delete this DOM elements as well. So we are going to start from the beginning. Okay, so save it. So let me just create some the DOM elements once again. This time let me have a meaningful tags like this is para1, and I'm just going to have another paragraph called para2. Then I'm going to have a paragraph with the ID P1. Okay, so let me provide the content like para with ID, and I'm going to have a para with some class attribute, para class equal to para class attribute. Okay, fine. And okay, this is the basic stuff. So let me save this. I'm going to open this in Chrome once again. Refresh this. So this is our DOM element as of now. Now I'm moving into a tab called console tab. So many of the people who are going through the session, now you all know using JavaScript I can select the DOM elements, right? For example, I want to select all the paragraphs. In JavaScript, we used to select it with the help of document.get the element by tag name. Okay, so that's a function. So let me repeat that. Document dot get the element by tag name. So which tag we are going to select means get all the elements which is having a tag paragraph. Press enter. You should see it returns a HTML collection, HTML element collection. It displays all the elements. So document dot get elements by tag name can retrieve all the elements with the tag called paragraph. Okay, I want to retrieve the paragraph which is having the ID P1. So to do that, we have another function called document dot get the element by ID. The ID is P1. If you look at that, it returns the HTML element back to us. So get element by tag name will give you all the elements which is specified with the paragraph tag. Document.get element by ID will return the element which is having a paragraph. For your information, in the DOM tree, you should have only one element with the same ID. For example, we have a ID called P1. We cannot assign the same ID, that is, it must be unique. So we have this element here. Okay, similarly, we have one more. Document dot get the element by class name. If you see the class, if I provide para, okay, so it will retrieve only the paragraphs which is having the class with the attribute value para. So these are the three important methods which we used to do in our classic JavaScript to retrieve the DOM element. But it will be really tough. For example, if I want to select a particular paragraph, for instance, I just want to get the paragraph which is having the content para-2. This will be very, very tough. And moreover, so to retrieve it, or the reason for retrieving it is very simple. I want to apply some style for that. So I want to select the second paragraph. So the option that we can, as of now, we can do like this, that is 0 will be this one, second paragraph is this one, so that para of 1 will give us the second paragraph. Can you see that? Okay, document dot get the elements by class name, so it gives para, so it has 2, 0 and 1. So I can just provide the index and I can retrieve it. So same thing is applicable for document dot get elements by tag name P. I want to get the third item. I can get the third item. But how to get the last item? Okay, after getting the last item, I want to apply some CSS for that. So these are all the bottleneck we have in our normal JavaScript. So this stuff has been addressed in the HTML5. In HTML5, under the new JavaScript API, they have introduced a concept called document.querySelector. So see that when I type document.querySelector, so under the query selector, we can just simply provide the selectors. So the selectors that we are going to pass as argument is nothing but the CSS selectors we are going to use. So it becomes mandatory for all the web developers to understand the CSS selectors in a detailed manner, so that it will be even useful for us to locate the DOM element with the help of our JavaScript API provided in HTML5, that is document.querySelector. So in HTML5 JavaScript API, they have introduced two important methods. One is document.querySelector, another one is document.querySelectorAll. So what is the difference between querySelector and querySelectorAll? Let me see. So for example, I want to get all the paragraph. Okay, it's very simple. Just you need to provide P and press enter. So if you look at this document.querySelector with the paragraph P, when I press enter, it will always retrieve the first element. It will always retrieve the first element, but we have a lot of paragraphs. So how to get all the paragraph mean? We have the option document.querySelectorAll. So querySelectorAll will give you all the matching element, whereas querySelector will return only the first matching element. I hope you all understood. Okay, and moreover, in Google Chrome, this document.querySelector can be even specified with the help of $. So this $, in Google Chrome alone, not in other browser, in Google Chrome, the dollar stands for document.querySelector and dollar stands for document.querySelector all, but only in the Google Chrome. You cannot use it in other browser, so it is better to go ahead with document.querySelector and querySelector all. But you can use this especially in the Google Chrome console mode. You can use this dollar and dollar for document.querySelector, dollar is for document.querySelector all. Okay, so our target is very simple. We are going to learn. So here we have specified some details, that is nothing but your CSS selectors. So you can fetch the DOM element in HTML5 very easily with the help of document.querySelector and querySelector all. The parameter that you are supposed to pass inside this document.querySelector and querySelector all is nothing but your CSS3 selectors. So it becomes mandatory for all the developers to have a clear understanding of what is the CSS selector is all about. Okay, fine. Now we can start. For example, let me just pick up the first one, that is I want to get all the elements. I want to get all the elements from the HTML. So using which CSS selector I can retrieve it in the sense, we have a universal selector. For example, dollar is nothing but document.querySelector all, only in Google Chrome. Okay, so here I'm giving star. So if I say document.querySelector, in the query selector, if I provide this CSS selector star, it used to denote the universal selector. It is actually a universal selector. So when I press enter, it will retrieve all the HTML nodes. Can you understand? See here, we have all the elements here. So this is universal selector. So let me just have a comment and let me copy it. The first one is the universal selector. So under the universal selector, let me paste this. This dollar is nothing but document.querySelector all. So it will make our work easier. So for example, in our head, if I provide the style tag, in the style tag you are supposed to provide this star. So in this star means it is universal selector. Apply the style, this style for all the elements. That's a meaning. For example, if I say color to red, so it means that all the elements will be in red color. Can you see that? So simple. So as of now we are not going to do this. So we got the idea of what is this universal selector is all about. So the second selector we are going to see is called as tag selector. So how to apply the tag selector? Tag selector is very simple. Document.querySelector all, that is dollar. I'm just going to provide get all the paragraphs. So let me save this. Okay, so if I provide this $p, that is document.querySelector all of paragraph, it will retrieve all the paragraphs. The third selector we are going to see is ID selector. So how to select the elements which is having the ID. For instance, we have the paragraph here with the ID P1. So let me try to select that $. Okay, so the IDs needs to be selected with the help of hash followed by P1. Okay, this is called as an ID selector. So let me copy this. So third selector is the ID selector. Okay, so we have seen the universal selector, tag selector, then ID selector. The next selector we are going to see here is class selector. So what is this class selector? So I want to pick up this paragraph, those two paragraphs which is having the class para. So how to select it? Very simple. Dollar, that is document.querySelector all. So for class selector, dot para is useful for select the DOM elements with the class para. So this is called as a class selector. So the fifth selector that we are going to see here is Descendant Selector. Descendant Okay, so we are going to see how to use the descendant selector. So this descendant selector, let me just do some small modification in my DOM. In the DOM, I'm going to have a div tag. The div tag is going to have a paragraph. Okay, so let I just say that this paragraph is going to have some content. For example, this paragraph is, let me say, paragraph placed within the div tag. So let me say this. Okay, and moreover it is immediate child. Immediate child means it is in that particular tag only, and we are going to have another. Okay, let this be there. This is the immediate child, so save it. And we are going to have let me say, I'm just going to have a span tag as well for our understanding. I'm having a span tag, and the span tag which is actually an immediate child to div. So immediate child in the sense it is available within that. It is not a grandchild. It's a that particular element. So for this span tag, this is the parent element. For this paragraph, this is the parent element. This is not a grandparent. It is a parent tag. Okay. Then I'm just going to have another paragraph. So in this paragraph, we are going to have another span. So in this span, this is span, but it is not an immediate child. It is a grandchild to div tag. I hope you all got the hierarchy. Okay, so if you see this paragraph and span are the child elements for this div tag, whereas this span tag is a grandchild to the div tag. So now we are going to see how to use the descendant selector. So these descendant selectors are used to select the immediate or even the grandchild. So for example, we provide this. It is used to select the immediate or the grandchild. So how to select it? Let me refresh it. So we have this detail. Okay. Now $, that is document.querySelector all. Okay. The detail should be provided within the single quotes or double quotes. Div space P. Div space P is used to select all the paragraphs under the div tag. It can be either an immediate child or else it can be a grandchild. See here, it selects all the paragraphs, immediate child or even a grandchild. We have a grandchild also. Okay, so those, I think that's not a grandchild. So these are two immediate childs. So this is one. This is those two paragraph belongs to this parent. So it is retrieving. Now let me repeat the same for the span tag as well. When I say span, you should see both the spans will be displayed, immediate child as well as the grandchild. Okay, so it's a descendant selector. So if I specify this, it is used to retrieve the immediate child as well as the grandchild. Okay, so you got the idea. So you got the idea of how to work with the descendant selector. Then the sixth selector that we are going to see here is direct child selector. So what is this direct child selector? Direct child selector means it should not be a grandchild. It should belong to that particular parent itself. It should not be a grandchild. So how to select it? For example, when I use this selector, it should select only this span, not this span. Okay, so let me try this out. So to select the DOM element with the help of direct child selector, document.querySelector all. Okay, document.querySelector all. See this div tag. If I say span, it will retrieve the immediate child as well as the grandchild. Whereas if I provide this option, okay, if I provide this option, that is greater than symbol, when I press enter, you should see it display only the direct child, that is the immediate child, not the grandchild. So this is called as direct child selector. So sixth one, direct child selector. Okay. Seventh one is going to be the immediate adjacent selector. Let me see. Immediate adjacent selector. So what is this immediate adjacent selector? For example, let me just say select this $, that is document.querySelector all. In that document.querySelector all, I'm just going to specify div, okay, followed by plus span. So what do you mean by this? Div plus span. If I specify this, it is used to select the span tags which is adjacent to the div tag. For example, do we have any tags, any span tag which is adjacent? As of now, no. They are the child elements. Whereas I'm going to create a span tag like this. This is somewhat adjacent to the, okay, I'm just creating a span tag. In this span tag, let me specify that span, this is actually immediate adjacent. Immediate adjacent in the sense it is following the div tag. It is immediate adjacent to div tag. Okay. Let me create a span and create one more. But this is not immediate. It is just adjacent to div. So you got the difference between immediate adjacent and adjacent. It is just adjacent. In fact, it is like it all belongs to the same hierarchy. So this div tag, this is the next adjacent, then the next sibling. So we have those three siblings, but whereas this span is an immediate adjacent, but this is not an immediate adjacent. Okay. Now how to select the immediate adjacent? I have given document.querySelector. We need to use the plus operator. For example, when I specify this, okay, like let me try, I've saved it. Okay, let me save it, go back, press refresh, then once again let me try the div plus span. So this will select the immediate adjacent selector. Okay, this is immediate adjacent selector, and we have one more selector that is called as adjacent selector. So how to select this element also? For example, I want to select those two span tags, not only the immediate, I want to select immediate as well as adjacent. So to do that, we are going for the 8th selector, that is adjacent selector. So in this adjacent selector, I'm going to use a tilde symbol. So if you specify this, so let me save it, refresh, paste it. Okay, this is immediate adjacent, whereas the tilde symbol will select the immediate adjacent as well as the adjacents. So it will select all the adjacent, whereas if I want to select the immediate adjacent, you need to go for this plus icon. Okay, so these are all some of the very important selectors. So we got to know about universal selector, stack selector, ID selector, it needs to be prefixed with hash, class selector prefixed with dot, descendant selector, div, then followed by space. It will select all the span tags which is under the div tag. Then direct child selector. Direct child selector means it should not be a grandchild. That is only the immediate elements will be, immediate childs will be selected here. So to select only the immediate child, we need to use div followed by the greater than symbol, then the span. Then we have a concept called adjacent selector. Immediate adjacent means plus, and whereas adjacent means the tilde symbol. Okay. Now we are going to see another important selector that is called as attribute selector. So in this attribute selector, we are going to see how to select the DOM element based on the attribute. So let me create some DOM elements here. So after the span tag, I'm just going to create some div tag. So in this div tag, I'm just going to specify an attribute. So how to create a custom attribute? So in div tag we have the inbuilt attributes like ID is there, title is there. So how to create a custom attribute? That's what we are going to see now. In HTML5, to create the custom attribute, it needs to be prefixed with data dash. Okay, all the HTML custom attributes needs to be prefixed with data dash, otherwise according to HTML5 specification it is wrong. So when you try to validate with HTML5 experimental mode, okay, on the strict mode it will throw error. In validated.w3.org you can check that out. So all your custom attribute needs to be specified with data dash. So let me create an attribute called data dash custom. Okay, this is one div tag. The div tag is having a attribute, div tag with attribute. Let me create that div tag with attribute. Then the next div tag, once again data dash custom, but let me provide some value here. Okay, div tag with the attribute and value. Okay, and the value is foo. So we have this div tag here. Then the another div tag is going to have the value called bar foo. Okay, a div tag with the attribute div tag with the attribute and the value bar foo. Okay, then let me try to create some more div tags similar to this. Let me decrease the font size. Okay, so copy this, paste it, paste it, paste it. Okay, so the next one is going to have some value foo followed by quacks and bar. Okay, this is the with the value this one, and next one is bar foo followed by quacks. Copy this, paste it, and let me have again with the value bar space foo. So we are going to see some demo to select those DOM elements based on the attribute value. So for that I'm just creating my or building my DOM now. Then finally copy, paste it. Yes. So this is foo quacks. So we have our custom attributes with some values here. Okay, so this is the a div tag with the attribute, with a custom attribute and a value with different values, and here the values are separated by spaces. So let me see how to work with the attribute selectors to select those elements. Okay, so in the attribute selector, so the first selector, that is document.querySelector_all. Okay, here I'm going to specify the attribute selector, we need to specify the selector within the square bracket. So that is, I just want to pick up the DOM elements which is having the attribute data dash custom. So let me try this out. Copy this, save it, open it in Chrome, refresh, so it will display everything. Okay, so I picked up, you can see, so it displays, it retrieves, or it will select all the HTML elements with data dash custom. You can even specify like this, that is, get all the div tag, to be specific, get all the div tags which is having the data dash custom. So if I have not specified div, if suppose this data dash custom is used in other DOM element, that will be also retrieved. Okay, so you got the idea of the attribute selector. So in this attribute selector itself, we have a lot of options. So the 10th one we are going to see here is attribute selector, okay, with some exact value, For instance, I'm just going to specify get all the elements which is having an attribute data dash custom, that too it should have the value foo. So copy this, refresh, paste it, enter. So it will just take the DOM element or select the DOM elements which is having the data dash custom with the exact value foo. So the point to note here is the foo is case sensitive. If I specify capital F, it won't. Okay, so this is case sensitive. Value is case sensitive. Okay, so same way, I'm just going to use some more attributes, sorry, some more selectors with the help of this attribute selector. So 11, this is 12, and this is 13. Let me see. So this is 11th one, 12th one, and 13th one. So in the 11th one, we are going to see an attribute selector. This is with the exact value we have seen. Now I'm just going to show you attribute selector which is starts with the value. Okay, so how to specify that? Okay, this is starts with the value. So to specify that, it should start with, we need to use this caret sign which is available in the shift. You need to press shift then 6. You can see this caret sign. It should start with foo, and similarly I want to just check it should end with the attribute selector end with the value. So to specify end with, we need to use a dollar sign. So in the dollar sign, for example, I'm just going to pick up the attributes called quacks. So the value must be end with the value quacks, and similarly attribute selector which contains the value. Okay, so to specify contains, we need to use this star. Star means wherever in the value if you have quacks. Okay, so let me just see. So first is starts with. See, these are all the DOM elements which is having data dash custom, starts with foo. The next one is ends with quacks. So dollar quacks, ends with quacks, and contains, we need to say dollar quacks. So anywhere, it can be at the in the middle or else at the end, anywhere needs to be specified with the help of dollar. Okay, so we have seen the exact value, starts with, contains, and ends with. Okay, and there is one more. Okay, let me just repeat it. So we are going to see how to work with the attribute selector. So this will select all the elements. Okay, and if I want to just get the exact value, so it will give you the exact value data dash custom equal to foo. Okay, then to check with the starts with, that is shift greater than symbol, sorry, shift followed by 6, starts with foo. Okay, sorry, it should be here, starts with foo. And similarly, to work with ends with quacks, we need to use the dollar sign. So dollar followed by quacks, ends with quacks. And similarly, I can specify star for contains, anywhere. Okay, and we have another interesting attribute selector. In this, I just want to check the values that is specified with the spaces. For instance, let me go to the 14th one. So in the 14th one, once again attribute selector, but here the value must be space separated. The value should be space separated. Okay, for instance, how to specify it means with the help of tilde symbol. Okay, I have specified the tilde symbol. Here I'm going to provide the value bar. It should be space separated. For example, I'll just pick up this, copy it, refresh. If I queue this option, star means contains anywhere, it can be starting, it can be in the ending, starting, so it works. But I just want to get exactly the bar, that too space separated. Okay, so how to get that means with the help of the tilde symbol. So if I specify the tilde symbol, when I press enter, space separated, now there is a space. Okay, if I have not provided this, it will be an exact one. When I specify this tilde symbol, it means it is space separated. We can check one more. Let's see, quacks. It is space separated. Okay, if I say foo, once again, foo, it will take that first one, space separated foos. I hope you all got the idea. The tilde symbol is used to get the attribute value which is the exact one, or else it might be a space separated one. Okay, so we have seen the 14 selectors. Now let me move into a concept called pseudo class. Pseudo class is just like a filter kind of stuff. For example, the 15th one, I just want to get all the paragraph which is the first child of a parent element. So that is, let me give a comment here, get all the paragraph which is the first child to the parent. Okay, so to do that, once again, document dot query selector all, or else simply in Google Chrome we can use $. Okay, so this will get all the paragraphs. Okay, this will get all the paragraph, but I just want to get, I'm going to apply a pseudo class here which is used to filter, like I want to get only the first child. Save it. Let me try this out. Copy, refresh, paste it, enter. So we got two items here, that is para 1, which is actually the first child. On what basis this is the first child? This is the first child for the body tag, and this is the another paragraph. This is once again a first child for this div tag. Other than that, there is no paragraph. So I have given the option paragraph, get the first child. So same way we can do it for last child as well. So paste it. This is 16th one. Get all the paragraph which is the last child. So one important thing to note here is the first child won't be considered. For example, in this body tag, this is only one tag which is considered as a first child, right? So when I specify, there is no last child here. For the body tag, okay, there is no last child. Let me try that out and show it to you. Refresh. Get the, okay, I think, sorry, there is one last child. Okay, this is the last child for the paragraph. See that? A paragraph which is a span, which is having a span, this is this one. Okay, so if you look at this, the first paragraphs, that is the first child won't be considered. Since we have only one paragraph, this first paragraph, this won't be considered, and this is the last child. Is that clear? So it will give you the paragraph which is the last child, whereas this is the first child. So that sort of stuff can be applied with the help of this filter. So it will get all the paragraph which is the last child. The first child won't be considered here. Let me write that. Last child. The first child won't be considered. Okay. So this is last child. Then 17th one, we are going to get all the, sorry, we have done with the first child and last child. So what we can do is we'll go ahead with, okay, we'll have a unordered list. So in this unordered list, we'll go with the list item. Let it be, this is 1. So similar way, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So this is 2 and this is 3. 4, 5 and finally 6. So we have 6 list items. Okay. So I just want to get the second list item. I want to get the second list item. So to do that, that is, get the list item appears in the second position. Second. So to do that, document.querySelector all, I want to get the list item. Li, it will give you all the list item, right? But I want to apply a filter. The filter is nth-child. In that we can specify the position. So the position starts from, so nth-child 2. So this is the first one and this is the second one. It is not 0 based. Okay. So when I go for this option, get the list item, document.querySelector, get the list item nth-child 2. Okay, so this is first one and this is second one. It don't consider with 0. Exactly, it is not 0 based. Li:(nth-child 2. Okay, this is good. Now I just want to get the list item, all the list item appears as second item, or else I just want to find out the sequence. For example, in the odd position, get all the list items appear in even position. Or else in the second positions. So instead of nth-child, I'm just going to specify n. N means it is going to be a repeated one. I just want to get all the list items appear as a second item. For example, in our program, this will give you the second item, whereas 2, then I want to get 4, then 6. In that case, I want to follow the sequence. To follow the sequence 2n. So 2, 4 and 6 will be listed out here. Okay. Then if suppose I have said 3n. So first 3, then 6. Got it? Element displayed in the third positions of the list will be displayed to you. Then one more interesting stuff. This is 18th one. In the 19th one, we are just going to get all the list items followed by a specified a different sequence. For example, get the list items based on the specified sequence with plus operator this time. For example, listen, this is the important one. 2n plus 1. Let me make you understand this, the very important stuff. So you all know, whenever I specify n, it is used to denote the sequence. Okay. So I just want to get the every two items later. For example, if I just specify this one 2n, okay, it will give you the 2, 4 and 6. Whereas now I'm just going to say 2n plus 1. So when I specify 2n plus 1, that is, it denotes it needs to start from here. But the sequence is 2. So it is going to take 3, then 5. Okay, since the list is over, then it will come back here. That is, it's going to pick up 1, 3, okay, then 5. Listen, 1, 3 and 5. So 2n plus 1. So 2n plus 1 means it will mark here. From here it needs to start. Okay, 2n plus 1. So 2n plus 1 means we are here. Next to 2 is 5. The next to 2 is 1. So that when you are trying to print it, it will just look from the 1, then 3 and 5. For example, now let me just show that 3n plus 1. So 3n plus 1 in the sense it needs to take the alternate third item, right? Every third item it is supposed to take. In that case, if I say 3n, it will denote here, whereas 3n plus 1 I told, so it will go here, fourth. From here, it needs to pick the next third item, 1, 2, 3. That is, 1 will be displayed and 4 will be displayed. Okay, see this, 1 and 4 is this display. So same concept is applicable for minus 1 as well. So if I say 3n minus 1, so 3n minus 1 means it will start from here. Okay, then the sequence is 3. So it will pick up the 2, 1, 2, 3. That is 5. That's it. It will stop. Okay, I hope you all got the idea. So let me paste it. 2n plus 1, 3n plus 1, 3n minus 1. These are all the examples you can practice. So this is used to denote the sequence, whereas this one is used to denote from where it's supposed to start. Okay, then this will 17, 18. Okay, so plus and minus. So this is 19th one. So let me go for the 20th option, the 20th selector. So in this 20th selector, I'm just going to get the list items once again, but from the last, not from the first. Okay, so that is, get the list item appears in second, but from the last. This is very handy one. So same concept, whereas only one small change. This is going to be, that is, second item appear from the last. So to specify that last, we need to say nth hyphen last hyphen child. So when I run this, copy, refresh, nth hyphen last hyphen child. So it will give you the list item from the last. So this is second last. Okay, and same thing is applicable here. If I say 2n, okay, 5, 3, in that way it goes. Is that clear? Okay. The next concept we are going to see here is the usage of nth hyphen of type. This is also another interesting part. For example, let me just do like this. I'm going to have two unordered lists this time. The first one and this is the second one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So I have saved it. Okay. So now the task is, I just want to get the first unordered list. How to get the first unordered list? Yes, we can do it with the help of, there are a lot of options available. Okay, that is with the help of UL colon first child. It will give you the first child and last child. For example, let me show that to you. So we have two items here. I just want to get the UL. This will get all the UL, right? I want to get the first child. We have already seen the concept called first child. We can get it. Sorry. Oh, have I saved it? Okay, UL colon first child, that's a different story. Here, I just want to get the first unordered list. This is a type in fact. So how to get the unordered list item appears at first. The 21st one. Get the UL unordered list item appear at first. Okay, let me see why this is not working. So that is document.querySelector. So if I give UL, yeah, and this is not a first child at all, right? First hyphen child. This won't give you. Why? Because this UL is not a first child for the div tag. So in that case alone, if suppose I have placed this UL instead of here, if I placed in a div tag at least, then it can be considered as a first. Is it clear? Like I can place this UL into a div tag so that it will be a first child. But here I don't have an ID. I don't have any other option, but still I want to get this item. For this scenario, this nth of type will come to rescue. For example, get the unordered list item appear at first. So document.querySelector all. Okay. In this querySelector all, we are going to specify I want to pick up the unordered list item colon nth of type, nth of hyphen type. There I can specify the data, that is I want to get the first item. So get the unordered list item appear at first. So copy this, refresh, paste it, enter, we can get that. Okay, whereas if I just want to specify the second one, it's very simple. So this nth of type will be very much handy for us. And same thing we can do it for the, so we have done it for the first, and if you want to do it for last, copy, paste it, this is 22nd, get the unordered list item appear at last. Okay, instead of nth of type, nth last of type. From the last, I want to get the second one. See this. So it will display that 1, 2, 3, 4. From the last, it takes the second one. Okay, so I hope you all understood the concept of nth hyphen last stuff. Then the next one is 23rd stuff. What else? Yes, I want to select the element which is actually a only child of its parent. Okay, it should be a only child of its parent. For instance, after this unordered list, let me simply create one div tag. So in this div tag, we are just going to specify a span tag, for instance, a span tag. So this span tag I can simply specify a div tag which has only one span as its child. Okay, so a very interesting part, I just want to get the span. For example, let me save this, and this one, 23rd one, I just want to select the item which is the only child of its parent. Select only child of its parent, save it. Okay, let me copy that later, refresh, ensure it is there. Okay, if I specify this $, div space span, sorry, within single quotes. So you have everything, but I just want to get that only child, right? So we need to apply a filter. The filter is span, which is actually a only hyphen child. So if you look at this, it is a only child. There are two, actually in fact, go to reveal in elements panel, you can see that. So in this paragraph, this is the only child. And similarly, this one, right click, reveal in the elements panel. In the div, this is the only child. So it will just pick up that particular details alone. So it is used to select only the only child of its parent. Okay, so let me copy and paste this. 23rd done. Then next is 24th one. So in this 24th item, I just want to get the unordered list item appears at the last. Okay, get the I think we have seen this already. Fine, in that case we'll just go ahead with, I want to get the unordered list with the single list item. Okay, to get, see, this is another interesting part, to get unordered list with the single list item. That is, it should have only one. To select, see here, that is a different, this is also almost similar to this, but see, that is one major difference. Okay, so let me create the unordered list. UL followed by a list item. So in this list item, we can just specify UL with single list item. Okay, so the target is, I just want to get the unordered list based on the single list item. Okay, pick up the unordered list which is having only one item. In that case, to get the unordered list with a single list item, document dot query selector all, I just want to get UL followed by LI. If I specify this, see what happens. It will give you all the list items, right? Sorry. UL followed by LI. It will give you the list items. But I just want to get that unordered list. I want to get the parent element. That too, I'm going to apply one filter. The filter is, it should be only of that type. Okay, let me just refresh it. We got that. Yes. Can you see that? So I can just get the unordered list which is of only of type. It means it can get the unordered list with the single list item. Okay, then 25th one, I just want to get the first sibling of its type. So same concept. Okay, let me copy this. To get the first sibling of the type. See this? So UL followed by LI. Now I'm just going to specify the filter called, or pseudo class, first of type. Save it. So let me copy this one. Okay, refresh, paste it, enter. Can you see that? All the first item, all first list item under this particular tag will be retrieved. Then the 26th one is the usage of not selector. how to use the not selector. So document dot query selector all. If I specify P, you all know what will be the output. That is, it will select all the paragraphs. But I don't want to get the paragraphs which is in from this result. I want to eliminate the paragraphs which is having the class para. So I can apply the pseudo class once again, not of dot para. So if you look at this, it will eliminate that two stuff alone. Okay, that's a usage of not selector. So to eliminate, then the last one, I'm just going to teach you how to work with chaining. So chaining is a very important concept even in jQuery. Like based on the result, okay, I want to apply another selector. Based on the result, I'm going to apply another selector. For example, let me just go ahead, refresh it. $, that is document dot query selector all, get all the paragraph, as you all know. Then get all the paragraph which doesn't have this para. That is done. From this result, I want to apply another selector. Okay, so document dot query selector all. From this result, just give it to another not of another selector, another pseudo class. Okay, I want to remove hash p1 as well. Sorry, no need to provide single quotes. Is it clear? So this one is called as chaining. So save it. Okay. So I've done with almost all the important selectors, which is very much required for all the web developers. So you can take a screenshot of this. So let me wait. Okay. And similarly, at one shot you can take it. So we have seen universal selector, tag selector, ID selector, class selector, para, descendant selector, direct child selector, immediate adjacent selector, attribute selector with exact value, starts with value, ends with value, contains value, and it has any space separated stuff we can be very easily retrieved. And we have seen extensively on the concept of pseudo class, how to get the first child, last child, how to get the items appear in the second, how to get the items which is following a sequence. Okay, I have given the two different options here. How to use nth hyphen last child, nth of type, nth last of type, only child, only of type, first of type, then not chaining. Okay, I hope you all enjoyed this session. Thank you for attending the session. Thank you.